Hey everyone, Arthur Fantastic here, aka the Irresistible Venom, and today we've got some more context on the J-Rod ban from B Team. Now we're following up on our last video on the subject, the J-Rod being banned from B Team, for a number of reasons, other than, first off, this is a community, we need to know who predators are, who are doing abusive, predatory behavior, if that is what is happening in this particular case, and we should be able to identify them. And they should be shamed, they should be ostracized. This is also covering the number 2 ADCC at his weight class competitor in grappling right now. So he's from being banned from a prestigious team where his brother is a very highly touted competitor, top 3, top 5 at least. He's looking like 3 or number 2, you know what I mean, behind Gordon Ryan. And what can be said about that whole dynamic is being kind of treated in a dismissive, vague way. We're going to get into some of the posts that we've got here. Once again, if you want to follow me on Instagram where I post more and, want to talk, want to keep up on what's going on here, obviously subscribe here, give this video a like, follow me on Instagram, Arthur Fantastic on IG, 1K instead of IC holler. And obviously we want the best for the community. I keep saying obviously, but let me make it apparent. Let me make it obvious. We want the best for the community. We also want to see what's happening with J-Rod. Is it really, what is it? You know, the vagueness, another reason why we're covering this topic, has made me frustrated. Vagueness in this type of topic not benefits no one. The vagueness doesn't benefit the victim. The vagueness doesn't benefit the community. Vagueness only helps actual predators, if that is what is happening in this case. You know, this is all allegations. Everything is like from another source. I'm not there. I'm not involved. I'm only able to try to put together what we could get on the internet. And it almost is kind of dodging the whole problem. You know what I mean? And that's how kind of things go in the era of propaganda and PR. But let us discuss more serious things and get to what is actually being discussed and said by the people involved. Now today, once again on my feed, a post from J-Rod came up. Once again, I always find it like 2 hours after it happens, and maybe that's because I'm not on Instagram enough. Maybe that's because my algorithm decides to hit me up 2 hours after it happens. Regardless, let's look at the post. Obviously, it's going to be on the screen. Hey, that's like the 4th time I said obvious. Take a shot every time I say obvious. J-Rod 2.0 on Instagram says, I want to publicly and sincerely apologize to those who were directly affected by my past actions. He says on a blank post in writing, not verbally. And okay, all right, we're already off to a bad start. I recognize the harm I've caused and take full accountability. Even though we don't know what he did, how could you be accountable if I don't know what you did? To those individuals, I am truly sorry. Those individuals, won't name them. I also ask the public that the public show them the respect and consideration they deserve by refraining from contacting or attempting to identify them. Their privacy and well-being should be the priority, and I hope everyone can honor that moving forward. Thank you. If that's what the victims want, that's what the victims want. But that doesn't help anyone, once again, to not tell us what you're doing. Okay, if you're on this road to faith and religion, you know, obviously we identified it being the Christian religion. It says confess your sins. It doesn't say vaguely allude to your sins and then apologize to a general public and individuals. Okay? That's not how that works. That's not how an apology works. That's not how accountability works. And that's now starting to get me fucking frustrated. A blank post. Oh, I want to sincerely apologize. You want to apologize so sincerely that you put a fucking blank black post with no fucking, oh, just a caption. No, I'm not involved. Once again, but sexual abuse, these no future monetization on this video. The SA problem, the cucking problem, and the whole fucking false allegation problem, right, of grappling are, as I said, problems, and have been going on for some time. And we're coming to a turning around point. We're coming to this the saturation point where people are starting to get tired of false allegations. They've always dogpiled on men, despite some men being innocent later on. But meanwhile, I mean, people need to come down on people because it's a heinous crime and allegation that needs to be proven before you fucking just throw someone down. So I understand the response, but I don't understand the inability to wait until facts. But when the facts come out, then sometimes they get away. So it's just this whole fucking clusterfuck. And then, we don't talk about it for a while. And then all of a sudden your ads are coming back up on YouTube. Okay. I had this conversation with my coach he was like, yeah, I saw Lloyd Irvin's like ads pop up. I'm like, I didn't fucking forget. And you know what? I didn't fucking forget either. I didn't think that he would try to fucking penetrate the market again. Though I suppose that some of his athletes who stayed loyal to him still compete today. So it's, this whole discussion isn't being had because there's a number of factors that are contributing to this. I don't want to talk about it, whether it be money, misled modern apologetics that make you, we just have to forgive and forget. That's not what forgiveness and forgiving and how that works. And it also is coming from this, I don't want to think about it. It's a number of things. There's beyond that too. There's other things beyond that. And I'm not going to just list all the fucking issues that are causing this issue. We're talking about this issue. And the problem that that's in front of us right now is what did he say? Inappropriate interactions? Or was it toxic interactions with women in the gym? Now, this post, though he's sincerely apologizing, doesn't tell us what we're apologizing for. How do you know someone's sorry for what they did? Because they tell you what they're sorry for. And if you don't fucking say in your apology and you're giving this fucking weak attempt at apology and you say, don't try to identify them, that just makes other people more like, what's going on? Tell us what's happening. You want us not to look into things? That's what a really guilty person does. I mean, he's already, by apologizing, he's opened himself up to litigation. As I said in this first video, though, that is one of the problems of why we can't even talk about this, because we live in a litigious society. I looked it up. That is a word. And unfortunately, even if his apology is sincere, I did feel like the video is genuine, but now he's making this post. If it is sincere, he should own up to what he did, and we don't know what it is he did. So while making the video and editing it, I wanted to make the visuals nice for that last video and at least give a good visual representation and cue for the viewer, if they're watching and not just listening, to what's all going on here. Because sometimes informations are in those graphics that I'm not saying. But along the way, searching for that article, for instance, that I had read and mentioned and I put it on screen about what happened in Puerto Rico with J-Rod, there was already other posts on the internet about this. Only hours later, they're already posting this. And one of those articles, which of course has a sensationalist title, as I predicted, is discussing what the actual allegations are. So let's look at that. We're going to bring that up on screen. So this article is from bjjee.com. They are always one of the websites I end up referencing in my videos. They get some things wrong, you know what I mean? But here we go. Shocking removal. This is the article headline. Shocking removal from B Team. Jay Rodriguez expelled for serious sexual misconduct allegations. And guys, that is a little bit sensationalist because I haven't heard a single fucking allegation. Sensationalist title because I haven't heard an allegation. Have you heard an allegation? I'm looking through the fucking, where are the allegations of what's going on? Now we're about to go into what they are reporting from their source. But once again, don't want to dogpile on the guys. Just giving you my opinion on what I think about whatever the fuck. If you are apologizing, that's an admission of guilt. Okay, what is he admitting guilt to? Is it so severe that he can't even admit to it because of some kind of legal problem? But you've already apologized, so you've already opened yourself. So what is the actual issue if no one's actually going to pursue that? If you're really sorry, you should have to give your fucking testimony and apologize. Explain why what you did is wrong and what you're going to do to fix it. I think you did a good job with this first video, but the vagueness is what's bringing up questions, and people are going to ask more questions. And I don't know if this is purposely done to stir the pot. You know what I mean? I can't tell if this is a work or a shoot. And if I should cover this with more, with little kid gloves, when you become a troll and you do troll things and, and you are a promoter, things like this end up being like, oh, is this work? Is this a shoot? And for people who are not in the know or initiated into what a work or a shoot means, a work is people are cooperating to have the audience perceive it as real, but it is actually rehearsed, and that is used in the world of pro wrestling. A shoot is an actual fight. We're actually having is two entities or multiple entities are actually beefing with one another, and you might shoot on someone also is to say that I'm going to speak candidly on that person. Okay, so with that being said, explaining those words for the uninitiated and who may not know what the hell's going on, as I mentioned before, Craig Jones is a bit of a troll, and J-Rod's a part of that team, but when you are doubling down with this apology and everything, and you're using words like sincere, I would say that I would give the benefit of the doubt to the people who are using those words. And maybe I'm being too earnest to believe what they're saying, but I think that the discussion here is what did he do? This is what the article says. Sources within the jiu-jitsu community have disclosed more troubling details regarding the circumstances surrounding Rodriguez's expulsion. Allegedly, Rodriguez maintained a concealed folder on his phone containing explicit images of women who train at the B Team Academy, alongside adult content intentionally selected for resemblance to these women. The situation has been described by some as creepy, predatory, and unacceptable. Okay, so there's a number of things here that brings more questions. Let's start with the elephant in the room, containing explicit images of women who train at B Team Academy. I'm assuming, and this would make the most sense to me, that this is a hypothetical. I don't know. We are just going through the idea of what might have occurred. Once again, these are my thoughts and opinions. I'm not alleging anything. What might have occurred, which seems the most likely, is that on the down low, right, J-Rod is taking pictures of women in, let's just say, compromising positions, and then, according to this article, keeping them in a concealed folder alongside adult content women that, assuming it's women that look like the women from the team. Now, taking pictures unlike with no consent, and like doing stuff with them, just taking I don't think it's solicited. I don't think that's the word. Is it unsolicited? But basically, pictures with no consent is already like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? That's creepy as fuck. Get the hell out of here. I understand that. And then keeping it next to specifically picked porn, which he's, if it's on his phone, he's like downloaded it. The person's downloading porn on their phone. Okay, all right, that's pretty intense, right? I don't know. I feel like that's a step of like involvement with that is pretty intense. Um, and I don't know if he's using it at the gym. Obviously, that is another question. But if that is the case, I understand full-heartedly why you would kick someone out. If you're taking a picture of other people who don't know what's going on, another person's wife, another person's girlfriend, another person who just does not want that, that's crossing a line of trust. There was a breach of trust, according to that first CJI post. Craig Jones post. And that would make the most sense. And that is creepy. That is a little bit predatory. I would say that, you would have to definitely go seek help on that. But it wasn't like, okay, he physically assaulted someone, which was initially what I was thinking that maybe was happening, or some kind of misinterpreted awkward situation, or maybe this was, whatever the fuck it could have been. I assumed that there was some kind of physical interaction that would be involved there. But this is saying that he had a concealed folder on his phone. See, how do you even get caught with a concealed? How does one get caught with a concealed? Is he opening that folder in the gym and then leaving it unattended, and then someone finding it and being like, "Oh, what the hell is this, J-Rod? What are you doing?" Like, or who is the person that broke this to the team? Like himself? Like is he just copping to that? And people are like, "What the fuck, dude? You think that's okay? You think that's cool?" Like, I'm just trying to figure out where this all came out. How did this unfold? Seems a little bit strange. The whole thing is strange. Now, that's like the first option. Obviously, the most likely, in my opinion, what that would have happened. Like, this guy's taking pictures of someone who didn't want to be taken pictures of. And that's totally warranted to kick somebody out. Wouldn't want somebody to take a picture of my family member, my wife, my mother, my anyone. Okay? So, dude, like, that's already get the fuck out of here type moment. But if the wording here in this article, and this is one of the problems that I have with this website, is their wording is misleading sometimes. So it says containing explicit images of women who train at B Team Academy. They have like OnlyFans or something. He just has their pictures from OnlyFans on his phone, and they felt some type of way about it, or maybe some type of mutual sending of these pictures, like consensual sending these pictures, and then he had them. So if someone consented to sending these pictures to him, or they were like an OnlyFans model or something, you know what I mean? Which I'm not saying that I consent. I support OnlyFans modeling. Um, the issue here is if they just have that available, or they gave that to him willingly, and he had it in a folder with similar looking people, then that now I'm like, I don't know if that's something you get kicked out. You know what I mean? Someone consented to these pictures, someone willingly gave them pictures, or having OnlyFans or something like that. You can't really kick a person out for that one. Is that likely the reason why this person was kicked out? Probably not. I think that the people in the structure of B Team, right? It doesn't seem to be hierarchical, but there is some type of hierarchy there. They are not unreasonable. You know, I don't think that it was. You know, and you know, we're still like talking about this, and like, you know, how, you know, people need to avoid these type of things, because it's obviously not a good look, to say the least, right? This isn't good spiritually. This isn't good for the sport of grappling. This isn't good for his friends or his family. This isn't good for Nicky Rod, his brother, who is obviously attached to his brother J Rod, who now cannot train at the same gym because of what weird way of acting. There must be some weirdness in his character that people have noticed and no one's doing anything about. You know what I mean? Including his brother. But I mean, what can you do beyond the most you can do as a friend and family member? You can't force or live a life for that person. So I think that people mentioned it and, you know, tried to talk about it in their own way, or approaching the subject, whether it be through um, comedy or confrontation. And I feel like I've seen hints of that here and there. But for things to turn out like this is, you know, I feel like there's a collective disappointment in the grappling community. And it's like, I'm not fucking saying, oh, no, you should be looking for our fucking approval, Nicky Rod, but I'm rather just voicing like that we're, you know, disappointed. I know that probably his friends are disappointed, his teammates are disappointed with him. You know what I mean? Not just lose. Oh, I don't have this team member here, but you know, this this violation happened, and more information will come out. There's no doubt. There's no doubt that that information will come out, and when it does, it will be up to us to disseminate that information and to actually, you know, absorb that information and understand actually what's happening. But from this right here, the most likely situation is that some without consent pictures were kept in a concealed folder, you know what I mean, with pornography, right? And corn. And that there's a conversation here of like, you know, corn, right? I should say start saying corn, right? Adult content. We know what this is. We know what a corn is too, but is this a good thing to encourage, you know what I mean? You know, or um destigmatize? Should this still be stigmatized? You know, being like, oh, well, masturbation and corn, I watch it, and oh, the hot bitches. Like, should we, like, you know, there's like, I touched on the last video, martial arts used to be a boys club, right? And you know, sports is always like a locker room type atmosphere where you're more free to say things, though now we're in a more, oh, is are someone going to be offended? um but for the most part, most gyms that I have attended or dropped in or went to a seminar for, or camp, whatever, they're most of them have like really cool, funny, wet gym cultures. I guess wet. I don't know. That's what the Japanese would call it. But like, you know, there is openness and, you know, locker room jokes and whatever, you know. But when this type of discussion, this type of situation occurs, the discussion must come to what he is trying to allude or directly implicate is the problem, which is his porn addiction. So porn, then, okay, let's corn rather. Damn, keep saying the wrong, but whatever the fuck, we know what we're talking about here. I'm not gonna keep fucking self-censoring, but I do like saying corn instead of as porn, because I think it's funny. Um, we should we have that type of, just flippant about corn? That is, in fact, a very large portion of what young males joke about. Not me. I don't joke about that. I don't think it's something to joke about. I think it's something that should be stigmatized. It's not something that someone should become addicted to and think that this is the thing that they can dedicate, their and replace companionship with. You, looking at it from a faith-based position, which is what I do in this channel, of course, and what his position, he's saying that he is changing his ways because of his faith, right, and his beliefs and his religion. If lust is bad, then then corn addiction and lusting after women just all the time, just like having sex with them in your head and imagining, instead of trying to pursue relationships with people, have a wife, have multiple wives if you want to, whatever. But instead of having women be just simply sexual objects, because you've grown so attached to the idea of two characters banging, like, get into the real world. You know what I mean? There's a level of eccentric that you're allowed to be as an athlete, especially as an artist, more martial artist. But you can't, like, the whole hermit, I grow really good forearms with watching the corn adult contact joke. That's I think it's time for that to stop. You know what I mean? We need to build a culture where we hold each other to a standard of, like, be a full individual and not be a corn addict. Damn, dude. And this is obviously a step in the right direction with Craig Jones, um and the rest of the B team. I mean, I don't know why Craig Jones specifically is coming out on that, but I guess he's like leading the whole invitation and the promotion that's going on there. Big part of the media there. Maybe he's a big voice that needs to be coming out there, but so did B team, and I think that's a right move if this is indeed the what we think is the most likely, or I think is the most likely uh, situation that occurred. I think this also is a string that attaches to the idea of the, I would call it devaluation, but like the financialization, the putting of a cost on sex is, and a person has also become a problem here that would obviously be, though it is a societal problem, would attach itself to a string, if you will, to the current problem in front of us with J-Rod, which makes sex or intercourse or coitus or whatever you want to call it, love making, right? It makes it just like as valueless or as valuable as a handshake. Oh yeah, it's just a handshake. It's not this exchange of whatever in the body or the spirit or whatever. No, it's just flesh on flesh, whatever the heck. You know what I'm saying? And me watching um the corn while flesh on flesh, right, away, you know what I mean, whacking away furiously while thinking about people at your gym is seeming to be a very um unhealthy behavior. And the thing is, I think that there is a level of that in all of consumption in pornography, where it's this attraction to an archetypical look or a woman, or maybe even a woman that you saw in life and now you see that in an actress, and then reliving it in some type of way. Or it's not even just about that, but rather you're attracted to some type of look, and that results in you liking some type of actress in that field of film, and it being this vicarious living of uh, fantasies in your day. And it's okay to have fantasies. Hey, who am I to, what? Guy can't have any hobbies. But I'm saying that in itself, innately, this is not a good thing. Pornography isn't a good thing. And, who am I to judge to, especially as someone who's done this in the past? Can I say that J Rod is this terrible person that should be outcast because he had these pictures with a. I I understand why they ban him. He needs to get help. Maybe one day in the future he can be in this community again. I think he's going to be training. Where is he going to train? That's another question. He's in Austin. Where is he going to go? Is he going to be a hands-off type of guy because of what happened? How deep do these allegations go? These are questions that I think will be answered as time moves on, as I touched on earlier. But how this reflects on society and how society reflects on this, and how this is a conversation also about the culture in the gym, and should we be encouraging, uh, if at all, destigmatizing masturbation and pornography. Like, these are conversations that are like philosophical, that go beyond like the normal surface gym bro conversation, but it's worth talking about, right? I mean, and if not, like, thank you for listening, so let me give you my closing thoughts. Ultimately, I think they could have handled this whole situation better, and with how they released the information. And I think that we need to pray for all the people involved, and we need to especially pray for people who might have been victimized. And as he said, there's multiple individuals himself, he said. So allegedly there's multiple individuals that are been, victimized by him, allegedly. I'll say allegedly again. So, there needs to be prayer. There needs to be people held accountable for what is going on. This can't be something that's just dismissed or swept on the rug. Oh, why are you talking about this? You don't even know this. Oh, you're not involved. There needs to be accountability. There can't be just this washing of hands and him going to um, another diocese or another area of churches, going to another church, or, oh, he's not going to be fired from this one police department, go to another police department. We're going to know what the fuck happened, and when it comes out, it'll be out. You know what I mean? And I think that them being vague about it made it worse, and are making it worse. But if you just read what happened there, it's like, okay, he's maybe a socially, not well socialized young man who is lonely, and coping wrong with his loneliness by filling his uh, satisfaction hole with pornography. But now he's pursuing faith, which is that God-shaped hole. It's not a pornography-shaped hole in our hearts. And he's actually going to pursue God. I hope that that's true, and and I hope that that leads him down the way of truth. But we need to confess what we're doing and then say sorry for that. Otherwise, there's going to just be, everybody's imagination is going to go all over the place. People are going to fucking pile on, oh, sexual misconduct allegations. Is that what fucking happened, or you just fucking act creepy? And creepy's enough, in my opinion, to remove someone from a team. Fair enough. But we're just, oh, it's sexual misconduct allegations. I feel like that's implying some type of physical interaction, abuse, molestation, something like that. And if the whole fucking thing is about the pictures, yeah, get them out of the team. But it's not fucking something that we should just be throwing around. Oh, what type of thing is happening here, and using vague but at the same time severe language that implies something heinous. Heinous. So, guys, the small development, 35-minute video. Sorry I was fucking talking so long. I appreciate you guys watching and all the way through. What we can do is just wait for more information to come out and not allow people to get away with stuff. And I think that's kind of what the current vibe is, right? So that's cool. And it's not out of malice or anything like that, but I think it's out of a sense of wanting to see the right thing and knowing, what we have on our hands. You know how to identify danger because you know what danger looks like. But if danger doesn't look the way that you think it does, it can be a massive weakness and a massive vulnerability. So with that all being said, stay up, stay vigilant, stay locked and loaded, stay brutal, always stay brutal. Shalom, shalom, peace.